Okay, Dennis Young here, podcast number 21 already. And we're moving along. Another great artist from the 1980s, and she's been around a long time in New York. Felic Rosser, you've been just artists that have been around for a long time, and I'm sure a lot of experiences in the city. So I guess we could start off by how you got involved with music and your background, maybe to start off with.
Okay, well, I'm from Detroit, Michigan, and I came to New York in the mid 70s to go to college here, you know,
Okay.
to go to Barnard College. I loved music, growing up in Detroit, of course, you take piano lessons, clarinet, all that stuff, folk guitar, and everything. And, Detroit's a great music town.
Oh yeah, I have my hat on.
Hi! Oh, yeah. So, I grew up with all that in my blood, and that was the most fun thing for us to do in high school and all was go to see bands. So we saw a lot of the great bands and great bluesmen and jazz people and all.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And so then, we like Glitter Rock came around, and so we started reading like Rock Scene magazine and all that, and it made New York seem so cool, with
Right.
the Maxes and the New York Dolls and everything who we saw, which just blew my mind 100%, and saw that there was a different way of doing things, a new
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I wanted to come to New York, so I came here to go to college, and then I was up going to college, and then Patti Smith gave a reading at our college, and
Okay.
we started going downtown to CBGB's and stuff. And then it was so small, they, you know, I never thought I could play in a band or anything because, especially being a black musician, and a singer, a lot of those girls, church girls and stuff can really sing, you know what I
I'm
mean?
sure.
I wasn't that type of person. I hadn't grown up in the Baptist church or anything, so I never thought it was for me. But at CBGB's, you had, Tina Weymouth played the bass, and she really opened it up to a lot of women
No, I'm sure she did. Yep.
things, because you thought, oh wow, she can do it. And I met my friend Dear France who worked the door at CBGB's, and she said, "Oh, let's start a band together." We became good friends, and
How about that?
yeah, and we were fans, like rabid fans of television.
Oh, they were great.
Yeah. So I played a little folk guitar, and she said, "Well, we don't need two guitars, so why don't you play bass?" And I thought, okay.
There you go.
So that's how I started playing bass, and then I started playing along with reggae records, those 12 inches, because the line repeats over and over for a long time.
Right, right.
Kind of learned to play that way. And then I got into reggae music and all that, and so, I mean, that's basically my foundation. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, reggae was so big back in the early 80s. I
Oh,
mean, all these bands were so influenced, like Public Image and Johnny Lydon and all these, the Police, everybody was cashing in on that reggae dub sound.
yeah,
Dub reggae, we were very influenced by dub reggae. You
yeah,
know, LKJ and everybody else that was doing all this dub stuff.
yeah,
So it was a big influence back then.
yeah,
Well, I think even world music was really catching on in the city at that time.
yeah.
So,
Plus, for me, they were saying something. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
because sometimes, as a black person on a punk rock scene back in the day, sometimes you would feel a little alienated. So, I got then I started getting into reggae, as a way forward. And
Right.
coming from Detroit, I didn't know any West Indian people really, because it wasn't so fluid of so many different cultures.
Right.
Yeah. So coming here and getting into reggae and all, I started to hang out in Brooklyn, and I saw how similar, you know, West Indian culture is to Black American culture, and I felt very at home there, and I really dug it. So, you know, that was good for me too. Yeah.
How did the Faith NYC get started? How did that was that in the 80s too, or was that
The
later?
very late '80s, the very
Okay,
late
very
'80s
good band.
gig. I think
You were
was
really good.
'9. Well, you know, I always played reggae, but then, and I was in an all-female reggae band, and you know, we did some touring and all that, and then that band split up. So I, you know, coming from Detroit also and loving, you know, the Stooges and the MC5 and
Oh
all,
yeah.
I thought, well, why don't we try to put them together? And there was an English band called the Basement Five who did put like loud guitars in reggae, you know.
Wow, I never heard of them. I have to look them up.
Yeah,
Basement Five. Okay.
and
Do they have,
they uh, they really influenced me because they were the first people ever heard that did that,
wow.
and so I thought, okay, all bets are off, you know.
Now, did you put a number of did you put records out on an independent label
We
at
put
that
out,
time?
we have, you know, we're still going, you
I
know,
know. I saw that.
and stuff, but
That's
I don't know.
great.
Uh, we have we put out a single on our own, then we put out it's all been on our own, you know. We've never really been on
Yeah.
labels, you know, but we have three three or four album releases, and we're gonna, you know, CD releases, and we're gonna
Right.
release another album slash CD slash whatever this year, you know. So
Now,
yeah,
you have places to sell it because at this day and age, I've only put everything out on digital independently. I've given up on labels.
yeah,
Unless somebody really wants to buy it, or I have a distributor that maybe will take them, I'll put a limited CD version of my music out. But nowadays, it's so tough to sell anything.
yeah. Well, I have a friend who says, you know, he's making a CD right now, and he says he's making it so that it'll be a foundation for him to get gigs, you know, so
Okay.
like that. So that's what I figure. I mean, we'll put this record out. You know, I mean, there's still radio. You know, there's still internet radio. If
Oh
you
yeah.
try to get on the radio or something, and try to get more people to come to your shows. You know, pretty much.
That's what it comes to. That's how you sell your music these
Yeah,
days. You're not going to sell it by just, word of mouth. You have to play and then have the CDs there.
yeah,
Now, were you influenced by ESG at all? Any of their sound?
sure, absolutely.
Yeah, they were something else.
They're still going too, and they sound great.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah,
The family chain keeps going.
yeah,
It's amazing. And then the Liquid run. We had those 3 really strong years with 9/9. We were very lucky,
yeah.
to have that.
You
That
guys
was
are so great. Yeah,
now. How long do you know Sal Principato? Do you know him a long time?
yes, long time
He's
from.
a great guy,
He's a great guy.
sweet
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Um,
And I don't know. Have you been involved with the 178 product?
I was in a member of that product for a while.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah, because we all
Yeah,
rehearsed down there, you know, 178 Ludlow. You know,
right. I
rehearsed.
remember that.
Yeah,
We
so
used to rehearse there. Liquid rehearsed there for
that's
our shows.
that's right.
Before when we had the reunion shows, we rehearsed there before it closed. That was a great little place.
It really was.
So much history on that street. It's too
Yeah,
bad they had to build it up now to these fancy condos or apartments.
a hotel.
So yep. And then
Right.
Scott Hartley too, right?
Scott Hartley played with us for a while.
How about that? What a
Yeah,
drummer.
what a drummer.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
He really knew how to play. And then what were some of the big shows you saw? Did you see Basement Five in concert?
No, they never played in the United States, so I never saw.
Oh, okay.
No. Uh, but I saw Pill, you know, of course, I saw Liquid, you know,
Yeah.
Bush Tetras, you know, Flipper, many things. You see Sue Endure. I mean, I've seen a television, of course, Remote,
Yeah,
Everything, Blondie. Yeah, Mink DeVille, you know.
that was quite an era.
Yeah,
That was a special era for music, I thought, in the city. That was just a caught in time era that was just special, I
yeah,
thought. I saw Pill the time they played at the Ritz where they had the curtain closed. They didn't see them. And they started throwing bottles and all this crazy stuff was going on. It was wild. And we were lucky we had an inn at like Haraz because Ed Bauman's brother worked there,
yeah,
Bill.
yeah,
Very nice man. So he got us in the clubs there. So
yeah,
it was we were at the like you two were in the right place at the right time at that point in history. Did you know Al Diaz and that whole Samo stuff?
yeah,
His
yeah,
art, how about that?
yeah,
Jean Michel?
yeah. That's an
Wow.
amazing story, isn't it?
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
He was at our I think he was at some of our practices
probably.
in and he had that band.
Yeah,
And who would have thought, right, that now his paintings go for hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
isn't that
It's
fun?
it's something. And I just interviewed Al Diaz, one of the first podcasts with Al,
Wow.
and it was great. It was great talking to him again.
Yeah,
And also, I'm hoping to have Shannon Dawson on.
yeah,
You guys knew Conk, right? You knew
yeah,
Conk?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh, they were great. They
yeah,
were great. We they were such a fun funk band. They were just and they came on stage with us at the end of the shows. Shannon would come on with trumpet, and he would just liven up the place, and it was really magical.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Something.
I
So it's
saw Punk about maybe 5 years ago when I forget his name, the DJ who passed away, and they had a big party where
okay.
Punk played at it, and it was so great. Jonathan came from Europe,
How
and
about that?
yeah, yeah, it was
And
nice.
Richard Edson, I know he's a movie star now, or was in a few movies anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was great. He was on our first record. He
wow,
was on Rubber Me Row.
wow,
Isn't that something?
yeah,
And we did that. That was a homemade recording.
wow,
We did that with, I don't know if you knew Bruce Tofsky. Bruce was our video, he did video editing anyway, but Bruce was involved with the band at that point.
wow.
So, did you see any of the reunion shows at all that we did?
Yeah,
Yeah, those were really good.
they were so great,
Yeah,
really.
we put it was a lot of. I don't think I could do it now. That energy was just. Those were powerhouse shows. You had to really be, on your game to play those shows. So what are you working on? What are you working on now? Are you working on any? Go ahead.
I've always admired Richard as a bass player.
Oh yeah,
Always thought he was so cool, you know. Yeah,
yeah. He had some magic about him. The way he played,
yeah,
just so fast and that was. Did you know Ken Caldera?
yes,
Ken Mann,
yes,
alias Ken Mann. Well,
yeah.
that was his bass,
Wow,
and I guess Richard, I think it bought him off him. I don't know. Ken's on one of my podcasts also.
wow.
You should watch that. But even though the video's kind of messed up on that, but if you hear it, he talks about how the bass came about. Because I always wondered, because I remember from the early days when I was with the Idiot Orchestra with those guys, that Ken had that bass, and his brother Bill McGuire. I don't know if you remember him.
I don't remember.
Okay,
Yeah,
because we had this crazy 12-piece band, the Idiot Orchestra, and that's how I got involved with Liquid after that. So it's quite an amazing history. So what are you working on now? Any new projects or any new music that
so we
you're?
have FaithNYC. We recorded a record last summer in England with a producer named Justin Adams, who is a great guitar player and producer, and he loves blues and African
Great,
music and stuff. And we recorded 9 songs with him, and we hope that we're going to put that out sometime this summer. You know,
great.
yeah. And we have a live band now with Finley Hunt, Kenny Margolis, who played with
I remember him.
yeah, and
Wow, that's
Al
great.
Natty, who plays with Ivan Julian and the Nightcaps and all.
How many people are on the record? Is this a A
No,
big group?
4 people.
Oh, that's great.
Finn Hun on drums and percussion, Justin Adams on guitars, and this guy named Patrick, an English guy, on keyboards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. You're still doing it. I'm really, really happy to hear that. You're such a great artist, and you just, you've always been, really through all these years, kept it going, and I had to have you on the show here because this show is really about mostly people from that era, and so I've been trying to get everybody I can to talk about their history. Now, what about is there links at all to your music that maybe you could send me over? I'll send you my email address through Facebook, I guess, and then I'll put it on the description so they could find your music. I want to make sure they find it.
Great. It's www.FaithNYC.com.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy enough. I'll put it on there because I want to make sure everybody that listens gets a chance to listen to your music. We have like 300 subscribers now, but it's a slow process. But I'm doing this for the love of music, and everybody that I enjoyed talking to and being a part of.
That's great, Dennis.
Well, okay. Well, listen, it was great talking to you. And if you want to add anything else before we go,
no, just had a lovely talking with you, and
same here.
Always so much.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Yeah.
It's always great. Okay, keep the music going. Stay happy, healthy, and take care. Thanks again. Bye-bye. See ya.